30 seconds and counting. T-
Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. It's Anish and I'm joined with Drew. And today we're going to be going over the Texans 2022 schedule. It just released about an hour ago, so we're excited to go over it. So week 1, we're going opening against the Indianapolis Colts at home. So that will be very exciting. And then week 2, we're against the Broncos away game. And then week 3, we're at the Chicago Bears. Week 4, we're back at home against the Chargers. Week 5, we're at Jacksonville. And then week 6, we have an early bye week. Week 7, we're against the Raiders. Week 8, we're against the Titans at home. Week 9, we're against the Eagles at home. And then week 10, we're away against the New York Giants. Week 11, home game against the Commanders. Week 12, against the Dolphins at their place. And then week 13 is going to be the home game against the Browns. I know a lot of you are excited for that one. And then week 14, we're against the Cowboys at their stadium. And then week 15 against the Chiefs at home. Week 16 against the Titans. Week 17 against the Jags at home. And week 18 against the Colts at their stadium. So a cool 3-game stretch at the end against the AFC South opponents. But very interesting schedule to say the least. So yeah, we're going to be grouping the matchups by pretty confident games we think we're pretty confident that we'll win. Toss-up games is kind of like one way or another. And then games that there's no way the Texans can win. I hate to say it, but there's some games in there. And then a hot take, and then we'll finish the video off with our final record predictions. And so let's start with games that we're pretty confident in. I would like to say we'll just continue our reputation just destroying the Jags. So I would like to say that we beat them 2 times this year. But Drew, what games do you have under that pretty confident column?
Yeah, so I mean, this is gonna be kind of a unbalanced thing for me here. I am really, really confident that we will beat the Colts week 1. You saw the Texans last year with David Coley come out and win the first game. I know it was against the Jaguars, but obviously no film, and they came out with a 3 running back attack. They just ran the ball. Tyrod looked good. Cooks played well. I think it's gonna be a lot of the same story here. A lot of new pieces for the Colts too, so they're gonna have to adjust as well. I'm actually really confident that we'll win that game. Another game that I'm really, really confident that we will win, obviously the Jaguars game. I mean, at home, I don't really think there needs to be much explanation there. The Texans pretty much own the Jaguars, and the Jaguars, in my opinion, did not have a very good free agency, and they did not have a very good draft either. So yeah, I think those are kind of just the games that I'm pretty confident that we can definitely win.
Yeah, I have the Colts as like a toss up for week 1 just because Matt Ryan, I respect Matt Ryan, but it's like a whole new system. And then as in terms of like what weapons they have, like Pittman's their wide receiver 1, he's solid, but is he gonna be the guy for Matt Ryan to really like put them over the top? Not sure about that. I mean, and their defense is always usually pretty good. So I mean that's why it's a toss up for me. But yeah, that's for the pretty confident column. So I say Jags 2 times, and then Drew says toss. Like we split with the Jags, and then week 1 against the Colts. So
Yeah, we won the Colts.
awesome. So now let's
First
move
Colts, yeah.
on. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but our strength of schedule is the 19th. So 1 being the hardest schedule, 32nd being the easiest schedule. We have the 19th hardest schedule. So that's not too bad, honestly. You would think that for a team that ended with 4 wins, we'd be a bit more lower, but it's kind of weird how the schedule works that way. So now let's move on to the toss-up category. We already kind of talked about it, so I think that Colts week 1 would be a toss-up. So other teams on my list would be the Bears. Like Justin Fields, the Bears did not do a really good job of getting Fields help. Like his wide receiver number 1 is Mooney, and he's nice, but his offensive line is not good, and then their defense is, it's not the greatest, So I have the Bears with that. Do you want to mention some other teams for your toss-ups?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a lot of the same here. I mean, there's a couple of tosses I could see, based on momentum. injuries is obviously going to be a key, but I think the Bears game is definitely a game I can see us winning. I think that's going to be really exciting too because Lovie Smith.
Mm,
I think we saw a tweet. That he was fired from the Bears after a 10-6 season.
yeah.
I think it's going to be really interesting seeing him kind of come back to Chicago with this new, young, physical, tough team. I think the Commanders game is going to be interesting. That's at home too. The Commanders are a team that kind of struggled towards the end of the season last year. You also got the Giants in New York. I think it'd be a toss-up. Giants kind of fell apart a little bit too. But yeah, this schedule is a little tough. When you look at the back half, you can maybe see them winning against the Dolphins, but obviously they have Tyreek Hill and Waddle. That would be an interesting matchup because the Texans, secondary has been relatively upgraded. Raiders, we'll see how that goes. They always seem to have a couple of hiccups along the way. So yeah, there's definitely some games that we could squeeze by and win. Texans always seem to win one game they're not really supposed to win, and
Mm.
it could happen.
Yeah, I would put some of the teams under this toss-up category as like teams with quarterback question marks. So like the Dolphins with Tua, the Commanders with Wentz, the Giants with Daniel Jones, really a make it or break it year. The Eagles were Hurts, but similar to the Dolphins, they have the weapons. Like they have AJ Brown, they have Devonta Smith, and the Dolphins they added Tyreek Hill, and they already have Waddle. So if those guys do pan out for those teams respectively, then I would put them in like the no way column because their offense is going to be super super deadly. And I have the Titans here in the toss up. Like their wide receivers are kind of question mark because Woods is coming off of an ACL tear. They traded AJ Brown. They have a rookie in Treylon Burks, and then other than Derrick Henry, like their roster doesn't really move me. I know I'm speaking as a Texans fan, and they did better than us, but I just feel like their roster isn't like super like when you just look at it on paper, it doesn't really stand out if I were to say it. So yeah, I agree with the Giants. Like can Daniel Jones put them over the top? They had a nice draft with Evan Neal and Kayvon. But they do have a new coaching staff, so it's hard to say what's going to happen. But Dabble did help Josh Allen, so maybe he can do the same with Daniel Jones. But yeah, the Washington team, their defense was expected to be super good. I don't know if they made too many new additions, and it ended up being really underwhelming last season. So we'll see. But yeah, that's the toss-up column. And now for the no way column. Do you want to start us off here?
Yeah, I mean the no way call is just absolutely brutal, especially look at the back half. But we'll start at the top. And you got week 2 versus the Broncos. I know I saw someone throw out there that Russell Wilson is going to be coming off an emotional Monday night game in Seattle, so that's something you can maybe look for, maybe a little bit of a chance for an upset there. But man, that Broncos team is absolutely stacked. It's just crazy. Um, you could argue that the Browns game is like a no way. That team's also stacked too. We'll talk about that game a little bit more later.
Mhm.
I don't think we're gonna beat the Cowboys on the road because that team is super talented. They're gonna be fighting for a playoff spot. You got the Chiefs. You got Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs and Andy Reid are always so good towards the end of the season. Also, think the Titans are going to be fighting for the division title in Week 16 at Tennessee. So, I also see that as a no way.
Yeah. So yeah, I have a lot of similar matchups. So Broncos early season Russ especially. He always goes off at the beginning of the season, so you gotta watch out for that. Chargers. I know we like demolished them last season, but that was like that unexpected game that no one really chose us to win. But they did add like Mac and J.C. Jackson, so I mean their defense is insane. So I don't know if they'll be healthy or not, but if this is just all of this is assuming that everyone's going to be healthy. But yeah, if they're gonna still be on that still healthy and stuff, like Chargers gonna be super hard to win. Raiders they added Chandler Jones, Devontae Adams, like they went really crazy this year in the offseason. And Browns, like you said, I hate to say it, but if Watson's active, it will be hard. I don't know if he's how many suspensions he's gonna get, but we know what Watson can do with not a lot of talent around him, and so this is just talking about Watson the player. So, but yeah, and then Cowboys they have explosive offense. Might fall off just a little bit because Cooper's gone, but they're still gonna be good. And Chiefs, it's weird because Mahomes' best wide receiver is Juju. He's had like an inconsistent career so far, but if he can recapture some of that like his early year production, then it might be really good for them. And then Travis Kelsey always goes off, and Mahomes is Mahomes, and so yeah, those are some of the teams we have for the no ways. And now let's get to the hot takes. And I believe both of us want this to happen so badly, but we're going to predict that the Texans do beat the Browns, even though we
Yes,
just
sir.
said that they're in the no way column. But I just think it's a home game, right? And there's just a different feel about that. I mean, the Texans team is going to feel a bit more amped up for that game. So yeah, what other how do you feel about that hot take, and what other hot takes do you have?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be the stage is gonna be set. I'm sure some Texans players are not happy about how the situation
Mm-hmm.
unfolded. You know, the fans are gonna be excited for that game. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really just a dream scenario. I have the Texans being like 3-11 or something up to that game. So the Texans are gonna be out of the playoff contention by that game. They're just gonna be pumped up, try to beat Deshaun Watson, and I think that's gonna be really exciting. A hot take could be that the Chiefs have the little slip up game and
Mm-hmm.
we beat them. Obviously, if one of those wide receivers go down, they're gonna have a little bit of a trouble there. I know Sky Moore's there. I know Juju's there. I know Marcus Valdes-Scantling there, but I feel like they need all three of them just to kind of
Yeah.
act and coexist, and even to replace Hill's production, it's gonna be tough.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna need all three of them. So look out for an injury to kind of slip them up in that game and possibly get us the victory there.
Yeah, like Mahomes would say himself, like, "Oh, when in doubt, just throw it up, and Tyreek Hill will catch it for you." So like he was a big safety blanket for Mahomes, despite how good Mahomes was, and so, that's gonna be a weird game, you know. Like it's oddly feels like a toss up game, like even though it feels definitely a no way game because it's like Mahomes and stuff, but yeah, those are our hot takes. So now let's get to the record predictions. So, Drew, what is your final prediction for the 2022 schedule?
Yeah, so like I said, I had the Texans at 3-11, I think, leading up to the Browns game or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the final record prediction is going to be 5-12. Of course, that's a little bit of an improvement from last year, but you have to understand that this team is improving, but every team in the AFC honestly kind of improved. Going to be super super tough. They're playing the NFC East, so it's going to be hard games against the Eagles and the Cowboys, and on the road versus the Giants, and of course you might get the win against the Commanders, but still the opponents are tougher. You're going to get some divisional wins, but outside of the division,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see us getting many wins other than those upset ones that we talked about. So it's going to be tough. 5-12 is okay. It's a 1-win improvement. The team's going to flash at times. They're going to stay in games. They're going to play tough, like they talked about. But winning the games against these really good teams is something that's they're just not quite ready for.
Yeah, I would have to say something really similar. So yeah, 5-12. You could argue for 6, and I've seen some people even say 7. But it's really hard because like you mentioned, every team in the AFC essentially upgraded. And like so, I personally think we'll beat the Jags twice at least, and then Colts week 1, Bears. So that's 4 wins already. And then maybe we'll win against a team that has like the quarterback question marks. And then we'll and I'm not sure if we'll upset a team or not. So that could be the win that gives you 6. But then we might lose a game against a toss-up team. So it's just hard to say. I think the best thing I like about this schedule is that it's going to be a true test about Davis Mills's skill set. You know, he's going against the top teams in the AFC, um, minus the Bills, but the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Browns. Those are going to be some really tough like tasks to go against. So that's what I like to see. So if we do end up 5-12, but Mills makes significant improvement, and he looks like to be the guy, then you can go ahead and draft, say, an edge at the beginning of the draft in 2023. But if he doesn't, then it's going to be quarterback season. It's going to be looking at some quarterbacks, and so yeah, it's gonna be a really interesting season. Obviously, we're not going to make the playoffs or anything, but despite that, there's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of new hope around the Texans. Like a lot more people are willing to buy tickets and stuff because like the rookie draft class, Stingley and just everyone that we did draft. So it's gonna be really interesting. Drew, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up the video?
Yeah, I mean, our record prediction does not mean the season's going to be a bust. I think it's going to be
Yeah,
really exciting.
exactly.
We had 5 rookies last year. They all played. They all started at one point. They all flashed, and you're going to see all the same things. The Texans got a lot of experienced players. They got a lot of tough players. They got a lot of talented players that are definitely going to be on the field. It's not like the Bill O'Brien days. I think it's still going to be a super fun season to watch, and this is going to be a step in the right direction for the
Hmm.
Texans. And one day we're going to be talking about them as playoff contenders, which is not as far away as we think it is.
Yeah, honestly, like if we do end up getting another top tier talent in the draft, I could see us being in the playoffs maybe in like 2 more years or something, like in the third year of a rebuild per se. I feel like I don't know if that's a hot take or if that's reasonable or rational, but the way Nick Caesar is building this team, I have a lot of confidence in him. Obviously, we still need to see how the draft picks turn out, but free agency 2023 is going to be pretty good. We do have a lot of cap space, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Let us know your thoughts on our schedule. What type in the comment section below what you think our record prediction, what our record will be next season. And yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Thank you all for watching. Peace.